All right, so this is actually a carryover from last week because we actually did get quite a lot of submissions. Yeah, you can send it to me in a DM there or the critique cabin, whatever you have. Was it? Yeah. So this is for a carryover from last week. This is Wolfer's critique. He was fighting a Mario, I believe, or was that Tom? The Wolfers was fighting a Kirby. Okay, now I remember. Yeah. This was not a pleasant one to watch. I'll just kind of preface it like that. So, Wolfers is actually somebody that's like consistently submitted replays here, so it's like I kind of know his general level, and I kind of feel like with this one, I do want to say it's been like a good month and a half, maybe close to 2 months since he sent something in. I think there's been a break, so I don't know if he took a break from the game or something like that, but there were just like a lot of fundamental things that he wasn't doing in this that I really want to highlight here because it's really bad. First of all, Kirby versus Duck Hunt is a like extraordinarily in Duck Hunt's favor. Kirby doesn't really have anything in his advantage that he can really utilize. If he gets Can, he can do some good things with that, and like that will of course help him. But it doesn't cover his fundamental problems of not being fast and not really having range and not really being able to deal with projectiles well. So he kind of just gets outwalled, outranged, and like the kill powers in our favor, especially after the Pingus tech. But this is pre-Pingus, so not really a thing that you have to worry about here. So basically, I'm just going to kind of be pointing out like a lot more beginner habits that I would say, and that's going to be mostly what's going to be going on here. I only watched all this stuff once, but that was basically the main thing I remember. It's like I just know he can perform a lot better than this. And the weird thing about Wolfers is like he's really good at playing the keep away game, but he does not do that here. So like right there, we have very basic stuff. This is a very common thing that a lot of people will exploit. If you watch this like Twitter clip of Zenyu getting of just like kind of, I don't know why, he was just very angry at something. Basically, if somebody approaches like with a dash or like they just kind of land with an aerial in front of you, a lot of like more novice players or people like right in that middle, they'll tend to roll in right here. Oh, Shrimp, thanks for the follow. So what happens here is he does that and then he just up tilts, and because the hitbox on this is actually pretty good, covers right in front of there, so if you stayed in place, and also covers the roll too. So that's something you have to do. Now Falco's really not that good, but he is better than he used to be. Yeah, the other thing too is you always want to like make sure you're putting down your gunman there with purpose. That gunman covered absolutely nothing. And Kirby was kind of close enough that it was sort of ambiguous Kirby actually would be able to get a hit on him. I think there was a pretty good chance that he might have. So there, not only did he waste his resource on that, but he potentially opened himself up to a punish. And the other thing too is it gives him basically zero benefit by putting that there. So if your opponent is like, okay, if you're at the ledge and like your opponent's like kind of over here, it really doesn't matter what character they're playing. That generally means that they're in burst range, and you need to be very careful how you're pulling out your projectiles, because if you just pull one in a very bad spot, you're going to get punished beyond belief. Capture card's a good way to do it, but you can actually use Smash to send it in. Got a catch there. Yeah, like right there, I don't know if that was a misinput, but like down smash is not going to cover an opponent landing on top of you. Also, something to keep in mind is like that Kirby's cutter, I forget the full name of it, but that's a very punishable move. So as long as like you know where he's going to land, you can punish him from below or behind, and you won't have any issues covering that. So keep that in mind. Something that you're going to see Wolfers do pretty consistently throughout this is he lets him just do cutter for free and just never punishes him, even if he's right next to him. And I don't know why he didn't, but in this case, he just never looked to punish it. Final cutter, okay. Yeah, the other thing too is like he's not really, yeah, right there you saw. So considering Wolfers is always rolling in when he's approaching, like that's a very easy habit you could look out for. You could probably like move and like charge an F smash and he'll roll into it. Yeah, so right now he's kind of doing what you need to do, just playing that keep away game. He wasn't taking into consideration that his can was already kind of covering that dash attack. So always be sure you're keeping track of what projectiles you want to hit and all that stuff. You don't want to just keep throwing everything out there, because not only is that wasting your resources, but you might drop a combo because instead of trying to convert off your can, then you basically, they get hit by the can and then you just throw clay pigeon and you got nothing off of it. So that's something you need to keep in mind. God, you guys are talking about so many matchups in there. I'd love to comment on this, but we are recording a video right now. This will do. After we're done with this critique, then I will answer your matchup questions before we get to the second one. Yeah, that's the other thing. You need to watch your opponents, because like if they just kind of come up there with a very strong attack, they can just sort of duff you, and you know, it's always going to trade in their favor in cases like that. Yeah, actually, I would say in this case, this might have been a Wi-Fi interaction. He might have meant to throw that a lot earlier, like when Kirby was over here. Still, I don't really recommend using Clay Pigeon in those scenarios just because it's super laggy. It's very easy to punish as long as they just hit the jump button. Like, he could have jumped over that and up smashed and not taken any damage from that Clay Pigeon. But, yeah. I would say this might have been a bad decision because of Wi-Fi rather than actually what he was going for. Because, like, if he tried to throw it when Kirby was in shield here, it's not the worst thing, but don't really recommend it when they're that close. Clay Pigeon you want to use as a punish tool. You don't want to use that as your neutral. Yeah. And then right there, what Wolfers was trying to do is like he was trying to get the Clay Pigeon to detonate there so he could convert off of it, but he wasn't actually following up to try and get that conversion at all. So he wasn't even going for the right punish off of that. Yeah. But yeah, generally, like, that distance game, that's kind of what you want to do. See there, that wasn't a bad Clay Pigeon. Kirby did an action, and then you threw that out to punish it, and he would have been able to shield on time. Good distancing. But yeah, as you saw right there, Wolfers did that roll in again, but lucky for him, the Kirby was already doing an attack in a different direction, so he was able to get away that time. But yeah, just keep, if you find yourself getting punished a lot for rolling, just keep in mind when you're doing that roll, it's probably a very noticeable habit that you're doing that you haven't picked up on. So that technically wasn't too bad of a bait there. Like, you know, can explodes on your shield. Then generally speaking, a lot of opponents do like to approach you at that, like after doing something like that. So that Clay Pigeon wasn't really the worst thing in the world. It's like, you know, high risk, high reward type of scenario. So not optimal, but that wasn't necessarily a bad decision there. Yeah, again, like, you know, Final Cutter, everyone knows that Kirby's Final Cutter is going to send the blade out, so hitting the can into him really makes absolutely no sense right there. Like, he just kind of wasted a move instead of, like, jumping over, so that way when Kirby lands with Final Cutter, he can just punish it with a fair. Again, Kirby landed with an attack, and he rolled. Like, he's doing this every single time. So this Kirby player kind of got lucky that first time. He wasn't really punishing it as a habit. The other thing, too, is Clay Pigeon on the ground is not going to ever combo. Oh! Wispy with the 1 month sub. Oh, gifted to Duelist. Wow. Shoutouts to Wispy being so kind to the Juicy Plan right now. But yeah, don't throw a opponent into a Clay Pigeon on the ground. That's just not going to work. If there's a platform there, okay, then there's something you can talk about there. But if it's on the ground, that's just not going to work. So don't do that. Yeah, unfortunately, he let go shield a little bit too early. But yeah, literally the second you hear that Hiya, you can just like jump, and then as he's falling to the ground, you can just land with a fair. Like there is nothing remotely safe about what he's doing here. This is pretty much the equivalent of your best friend saying they're the best one at Smash, and they spam this move. That's kind of what's going on right there. Yeah, again, when you're fighting a character like Kirby, he's going to be in the air a lot. So Clay Pigeon's going to generally miss him a lot just because it's kind of a weird zone for Clay Pigeon to cover. So you really shouldn't be using this move in this matchup. This matchup, you basically use can and forward air, and those two moves alone just win you the matchup. Oh, can, forward air, and up air. Those three moves, as long as you use those three, you basically, there's not really a good answer Kirby has to that. Something else to keep in mind is that Kirby does have a lot of like true low percent combos. The main thing you're going to do is just like hold an SDI out to like shorten it as much as possible. But you know, you can very easily take like 30, 40, 50% depending on the stage and the positioning. So just take the damage. Don't be too worried about it. But like once he gets to like 70%, there's not really combos anymore. He does have some kill confirms though. Also, like something that you should take note of is that like if you jump, as long as you just jump away from Kirby, Kirby doesn't actually have a way to punish you. As long as there's some distance between you. Like let me get a better example, right? Good tech by Wolfers there. Okay. So if Kirby is like where his foot is, like if Kirby was over there and you're over there, as long as you jump away, Kirby physically does not have a single option he could use to punish you. And as long as he throws out any attack, just any attack at all, you can literally hit forward air and move forward and you will punish him regardless of what he does. About the only thing he can mix it up with is if he does inhale and you don't, you know, you get sucked into the inhale. That's pretty much it. But outside of that, like there's not a single thing. And he's not going to do jumping inhale towards you. That'd be kind of the most ludicrous thing I've ever seen. And if he does do that, there's a plethora of ways you can punish that too. So it was overall just very confusing. But yeah, right now he's going back to that keep away game. So that's kind of what you want to see. And do keep in mind, you can use your gunman as the wall. So if he ever does hit the can into it and he's next to it, that will blow him up. Again, by committing to a very hard committal smash attack there, he's letting Kirby land for free, where if he just strikes with up airs or like back airs to the side, those will kill Kirby just fine, and those are way less committal, so you're able to move around and everything. And I do find it hilarious they decided to give him the Ganon up air back from melee. Yeah, messed up his combo there. Got very lucky he didn't land behind him. Yeah, right there. He threw out that Clay Pigeon without believing it was going to hit, so he didn't get a full combo off of it. And honestly, if he landed that Clay Pigeon, there was a chance he might have been able to kill him with it. Yeah. Also, the other thing he could have done there is if he pinged the can in time, it actually would have clanked out the attack and it wouldn't have. It would have just canceled out the upside. Yeah, so for anybody that's watching the VOD, yeah, sorry about that. There was the little glitch happened again where it had a weird encoding error and it just kind of blacked everything out for a second. I'm not really sure why it does that. Don't know if it's like a power thing or something. I don't know. It's hard to say. Oh, God. Just because Square Enix is Square Enix, I'm going to mute this. I don't know. I do not want to deal with any copyright claims. Okay, that should be good. But yeah, overall, you know, this stage honestly is still very easy to fight Kirby. Something you're gonna notice a lot is he does Final Cutter a lot on the platforms, and you can literally just go underneath and punish him with any option, and you know, punish him because he can't hold down and go through the platforms with Final Cutter. So if he's on top of a platform, you know exactly where he's going to land, and you know exactly where you can punish him and the timing for it. Yeah, so like right there, he kind of went right in the middle, but there he's landing. Wolfers just needed to just up air him right there. There was no reason to think about any other option. Again, not really taking consideration the what he's going for. He could have held shield and like grabbed him for doing that dash attack on shield, because like dash attack from that distance was not going to cross up. Again, the other thing too is like he could have actually gotten a can out like right as soon as he was doing a get up there. So by pulling out can, it at least will cover jump. And if Kirby decides to charge him, he will be able to respond with shield, spot dodge, or jab. So it wouldn't have been a bad time to do it. Yeah, okay, he was at least able to get the grab there. And not really watching for what moves will punish him or seeing where Kirby is exactly. Now, at this point, he's just spamming a lot of buttons. That's the other thing to keep in mind is if you have Gunman out, it will block Final Cutter. So you really don't have to worry about that going through your shield. Yeah, so there he's just trying to do down throw up air, but because Kirby's so light, at that percentage, it's not going to work. Honestly, it wasn't a bad attempt to get the F smash on Final Cutter. You know, the Kirby cannot auto snap it when he rises up, so that is something that you can get. But yeah, there's a couple ways you can beat that out. You can do down air over it because he can't snap the ledge, so that's a very easy one to get. Or you can time an F smash as well. Yeah, see there. Now he's doing what he needs to do. He's just watching Kirby jump and then he's sharking him. But because he decided to go for Clay Pigeon and not watch where Kirby was, he got hit by that. So you really need to pay attention. Can again. See, we got good positioning starting now. And that Clay Pigeon makes sense because that one would force the explosion on the can there. So then that way it wouldn't get knocked into him. So that Clay Pigeon actually made a lot of sense. Final Cutter meta is literally I'm the best of all of my friends in my house. That's what the Final Cutter meta is. Again, not watching the burst range there because so he pulled that Gunman way too close. I'm going to throw cans to cover that platform. See, good stuff there. Can to cover that platform. And then, like, off of that Clay Pigeon, he actually still was able to convert that into a back air if he really wanted to, but he at least was able to pick up the stock there. Again, not watching the opponent. Like, you know, if he held shield there, there was no option Kirby could have had to kill him there. So you have to think about that as well. That's the thing. It's like he's just overall, like, you know, throwing that Gunman there and like placing yourself in the face of danger, like next to Kirby, is what you need to avoid. Basically, you just kind of sit back, let Kirby come to you because Kirby can't camp you out with anything. And then when he approaches, you just wait for that opening and then you just punish him with fair, get your grabs, throw him off, and then get your combos and do your setups with can. Rinse and repeat over and over again. And the good thing is because it's Kirby, you can kill him. You can actually consistently kill him with can. It's not like the other ones where they can live like 150 plus and beyond that. Like Kirby's pretty easy kill. That was a nice parry. Again, like not punishing the back air on the Gunman, which extends the hit stun. So it makes it a lot easier to punish that way. Yeah, that was kind of a harder can to think of converting off of, but you know, again, he's not really thinking about using his projectiles to convert off of. Like he's only pushing them there just to put him there, and you need to get away from that thinking. Your projectiles aren't there just so they can blow up and just so you can throw another one and they just blow up too. That's a horrible way of thinking about this. That's kind of like thinking more of like every single projectile you have is a charge shot, but that's not why they're there. They're there to control space and they're there to convert into other conversions. So if it keeps pushing them away, that's just resetting neutral and you're just going to be setting up more plays after that. But the thing is, can is not there by itself. It's what am I doing with my can and what are the things that I'm looking for with this can. So if you're looking for the reverse hit or you're looking for it to like send them back towards you, then you're going to be looking for combos off of that most of the time. If it's sending it away, okay, where am I covering their landing options? Where am I covering them in the air? You got to think about all these things. Or if you place can on a platform, it's like, okay, where do I not want them to go and where do I want them to go? If they go in that area I don't want them to go, can's going to cover that. If they go in the areas where I want them to go, then I'm going to get a bigger punish. Those are the things you need to think about. I don't really think it's annoying to deal with. Like it's very, very straightforward with how you deal with it. And it's not like it's hard to punish. Like maybe if you're far away, sure. Like there is a safe distance you can throw it out. But like what he's doing here, this is not safe distance Final Cutter in like any world of the imagination. Like right there, the second you hear it, he could have literally just sharked underneath that platform and he was okay. It's like he started it in like the middle of it. And like if you're concerned, like you can just hold shield underneath the platform, and if he does it on your shield, you can still punish it. Like let me see how minus this move is. Let's go over here. Kirby's Final Cutter. Final Cutter's negative 21 on shield, so that should be the only explanation you need on why you really don't need to worry about that move. Well, Wario has like aerial mobility, so I'm pretty sure you can just like jump over it and then like back air him the second you hear him start it up. And then yeah, there we go. But yeah, see, like as long as you play a keep away game and you're focusing on just covering his landing options, you should have no issues with this matchup. And that like he wasn't doing a perfect job of doing that, but like he did it enough that he was able to win. That's kind of why he took match 2. Yeah, it's always great to have good range against tiny characters. It helps a lot. All right. He just ran up and jabbed his Final Cutter. But yeah, see, now you can just shark with that. Unfortunately, his input was a little bit late. Yeah. Again, like, it wasn't the worst clay pigeon, but there wasn't really enough information to say that he was going to go below the platform. It's just, I could see why he would think that, but you kind of don't want to default to my most punishable option for your neutral or your punish options. You should only be using your most punishable option when you know it's going to hit. That's why you don't want to be throwing out clay pigeons liberally. Like over there when Kirby was on top of that can, like you should have been 90% sure, 100% sure that can was going to hit him, or you'll be able to cancel out his attack from that position. Like you need to recognize these situations a lot more. He got so lucky with that timing. Kirby player wasn't paying attention. Yeah. See, so like right there, that Gummin usage wasn't too bad. So he saw Kirby running off the platform from there, and Kirby's not really fast enough to punish that. So with that there, you get the extra hits done, so you can basically get yourself a guaranteed punish off of that. That wasn't the worst. Like if you're going to use gunmen with them charging at you, that's kind of the way that you want to use it, where they're not fast enough to really punish you, and they'll hit it. That gives you more time to respond and punish them. That's a good way to use it. Again, like right there, he's detonating it way too early, so he's not getting any conversion off those clay pigeons. He wasn't ready for the can conversion over there as well. Also, the other thing too is because that he didn't detonate that clay pigeon, he basically was preventing himself from being able to utilize can immediately, and that's a huge flaw right there. You don't want to be risking that. And there's just better ways to cover that situation. Like that F smash was just like kind of a Hail Mary to hopefully hit him, but there's like way more consistent guaranteed things you could have done in that situation to cover the ledge that would have hit him. Wasn't really necessarily a bad idea for him to charge in there, because like I would have thought clay pigeon would have covered him in that instance, but no, unfortunately didn't. There he didn't DI out. Whenever Kirby does up throw, hold away, and that's how you'll survive it longer. I don't know if he would have lived, but I think his chances would have been pretty good. Yeah, he held it for too long. Like all you had to do was let it go the second that can was coming, and he would have been okay. Yeah, unfortunately, so if Kirby does dash attack right next to your shield, he's going to pass through. So just drop shield and then like chase after him and punish him. Because once dash attack hits your shield, it's not a multi-hit move, so it can't hit you again. So always remember that. Single hit move, drop shield the second it hits you, go punish him. It's a laggy move. Oh, he got the drag down with the up air, but no way he's going to be ready for that. Also, that was a huge drop there. When Kirby's shielding on top of that can, you basically just need to wait for him to roll to up air in this area. If he jumps, then you can use can to cover that. If he does a spot dodge, can cover that as well. Drop shield, can cover that as well. So literally, you just have to shark underneath this area and then just have can cover, jump, and stay in place. And if he did that, then he wouldn't have botched that whole situation right there. Again, like, he keeps just trying to charge him, but there's absolutely no reason for him to do that when he has, like, the lead. Like, he just needs to let Kirby keep coming to him. Oh, Kyrie X, thanks for the follow. Or Kyrie X. That was kind of a risky fair there, but at least he timed it right. The other thing, too, is, like, he's not really trying to utilize Shield Can, and I don't know why he isn't, because Kirby has no answers to Shield Can as well. Also, yeah, remember, when the gunman's on the ground, it's still a hitbox you can hit, a hurt box you can hit. So that did give him a lot more time to punish that dash attack from Kirby too. Yeah, see, like that was a good call out because like there's nothing that Kirby can do there. Unfortunately, he botched the second one, but there's nothing you can do. And then there, he finally went for shield can. In that case, the can was a little bit too far away, so it didn't work there. Wasn't just trying to get down safely there. Then he could have air dodged there, so I'm kind of surprised he didn't use that option. Because it just would have put him in a safe situation regardless if he got hit. And just going for a Hail Mary there. Now it's led to a whole punish. He's without a jump. Got very lucky landed there. Now he's without a jump and now he died. So yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's just like a huge series of mistakes that just led to his death. Like, none of this needed to happen at all. He just kind of kept trying to charge. He kept throwing out projectiles in very unsafe situations. Wasn't really thinking about the trajectory he was using to recover. And not only that, he was burning his jump resource too, which is very important to have. Like, you know, Kirby at least has a decent game at edge guarding us. Not the greatest because he's slow, but like, you know, he can stay out there long enough that he can mess with all of your stuff and like kill you like that. Yeah, he really botched it. So I was gonna say, like, it's kind of infuriating to watch this because like I know he can do better than this. Like, honestly, like if he just stuck to his normal game plan that he does like all the time, he would not have run into any of these issues. And then like over there, he could have air dodged up and survived too. He didn't take advantage of that there. And like right now, he's not setting up with can at all, which basically got rid of the entire advantage he set up over there. And then, you know, he just keeps doing like the final cutter stuff over and over again, but like he's not just being prepared for it. The other thing too is like when Kirby is far away, just run away and set up. Like being able, like something that a lot of people have to comprehend is that running away and getting your can out in itself can be a punish. Just because you've made this situation so much better for yourself and your opponent has to deal with so much more versus just fighting you one-on-one. So remember, like running away and getting your can out is still a punish sometimes just because you have made it harder, objectively harder for your opponent to like come and deal with you at that point. Yeah, see like there he at least did the juke, but like he's not using his air dodge at all. Like, he can cancel that. He could have even done an attack, and that would have still, like, helped him stuff out this Kirby as well. Super late on, like, that response there. And then again, like, he just goes for a super hard commitment when all he has to do is go to the side of the down B, and if he gets out of it, then he can just jump in back air and kill him. Another thing here is, like, right here, he could just kind of play around can. And as long as if Kirby attacks a shield, the shield can would have worked. Yeah, so he's finally thinking about like trying to jump over and like fair him after he's doing final cutter and all that stuff. But, you know, it's a little bit too late. He's not really in position to do it. Like he hasn't found a comfortable position for himself. The other thing too is like he's not spacing fair. As long as he spaced fair, those fairs would be safe. Again, not canceling his up B and making it much easier to punish him. But lucky for him, the Kirby kind of messed up on that punish. Like as long as you cancel it with Nair and land, that's a pretty hard move to punish. Like the most he could get is like a dash attack or a grab. Outside that, he's not getting much. And again, like, he's doing a point blank fair right there, which isn't safe, and Kirby can actually punish that. And in this game, there is zero reason for him to do that at all. Like, there is no reason for Duck Hunt to rush in. Again, like, he's putting himself in unsafe situations by burning his jump and landing right in front of Kirby, too. Rolls like just back instead of just like watching what the player's doing. See, like here, now we've got a decent setup going. Yeah, we'll stop that out, get the can out, snipe it out. Now the can's behind you, so you don't really have to worry about it. And the thing is, like, he did down smash instead of up smash. If he did up smash, not only is that going to come out of shield faster, but it goes vertically. And Kirby's a very light character. With that much rage, it probably would have killed him. And because he wasn't already in DI, that he died there. Which he might have died anyways, because that dash attack's decently strong. But like overall, there's just like an enormous amount of mistakes that were happening over there. Mostly it devolves to like not thinking about your techs at all, not watching your opponent at all, throwing out your projectiles at a very bad time, not committing to just like camping them out, rushing in a lot. And just generally not just trying to abuse what makes Kirby bad in this matchup or what makes Duck Hunt good in this matchup. The other thing too is like, unfortunately we don't really have a huge variety of stages. Like we've only had FD and I think it's all been Battlefield since then. Well, we had 2 FDs and then 1 Battlefield, which FD is horrible for Kirby in this matchup. Like there's not much you can do. Again, he's still not canceling his up B with like air dodge and attacks. And you will see him cancel his up B with air dodges and attacks. It's like he completely forgot that was an option, which would have made this a lot safer for him as well. See, now we're finally covering platforms like that. Got with the landing punish there. So like that F smash wasn't bad, but you know, if he responded with the clay pigeon, it would have been better. Then again, like just goes for a hard commitment that wasn't going to work. Goes for a read that doesn't even remotely make any sense. And then see, look, that's really all you do. Just be patient, hold shield, and then just, you know, just punish it when it's there. Yeah, so he's like not even hitting. He's not even hitting his shield. Like that's there's just so many issues with the fairs that he was doing in that last match. Like there, when you see somebody charging a smash attack, you can just clay pigeon it. You don't even have to think about it. Safe. If they break it, you get a punish, and if it hits them, you get a massive punish. So can see like now we've got a pretty good setup going here. He's covering the ground. He's covering the air with can. Covered that final cutter with that. See like that whole sequence right there. If he just did that consistently, he easily would have won this matchup. Because like, you know, I can't say the Kirby's doing anything like super fantastic that he's outplaying him. He's just like doing the bare minimum, and that's just kind of enough to get around what Wolfers is doing. See, like there, Wolfers kind of had a misinput. If he did up air, probably would have got him. Got the up air over there. Again, like, yeah, not really just paying attention to the fact that, like, Final Cutter's just not going to get through. You have to go high here, because, like, Kirby can't really cover that too much. But he could have also done that air dodge to, like, get away from Kirby, so he just wouldn't have gotten punished by him, too. Like, there's just a lot of other things. Oh, yeah, unfortunately, he didn't really position himself correctly to get the tech there. He had the right idea, it's just he wasn't thinking about, oh, I need to drop down and then up air to cover the tech in. He has the can there, but yeah, see, like, right there, he had a miscommunication with himself. He had the can ready to go ahead and punish them, but instead, like, he just ran with the dog instead and missed the entire punish there. And he could have gotten, like, that can from that high probably would have killed. Also, the other thing, too, is Kirby, a lot of Kirby's things aren't true, so you can just kind of mash can and it'll kill Kirby instead of you. And then, yeah, there. Now he's in a pretty bad situation. Finally uses the air dodge, but, you know, unfortunately, he just was kind of in a bad position. So, like, these are just, like, huge throws right there. Like, he could have just gone lower, thrown the can up, and he would have had an infinitely easier time getting around Kirby at that point. That's the other thing, too. Like, burning your resources is also just, like, doing himself a huge disservice. Yeah. A little bit late on that reaction there, but, like, responding with an aerial wasn't the worst, but probably getting a can out would have been better. Now in a pretty good spot here. Does nothing to cover that. Like when he had that can out, he could have thrown a gunman down to help cover this. And if Kirby decided to dash attack that, probably could have just charged the down smash and killed him right there too. And again, like Kirby was just jumping, did an attack, and he rolled in. Like he was completely safe, and he decided to give him an opening. But you know, of course, Kirby player wasn't really paying attention. And then, like right there, that was a huge drop. Like Kirby has no answers to shield can. All you have to do is shield, wait for him to come down with an attack, and just drop a can on top of you, and you'd get that punish right there. And he got the hard hit of the late hit of dash attack. That's a pretty hard one to get. And then all he has to do is just keep covering with can. And like now, like this makes no sense. Why are you going out here and like hitting your can when Kirby is over here? This platform's already covered by can. There is no reason for you to be covering can at all. Cover what you're trying to kill. Cover the objective. Your can's already covering the objective over here. You have your own objective over here. Go back to the battlefield guide or like talk about that nonstop. Like do what you're supposed to do to like take advantage of the whole situation. Going over here is just like, oh, I don't really care what you're doing. I just care about this big shiny red object and you don't even matter. And like, that's the reason why he's living. Like at 131, letting go of down B there while you're beneath the center platform, that should just be a death sentence right there. Like he just has to do double jump up air and he's gone. He's dead. But instead he just decides to go to cannon because I can't give you a reason for it other than it's a shiny red object that sometimes will attract players just because it's shiny and red and it blows up, which, you know, that's kind of cool. And there we go. There, simple and clean. Take it out like that. So luckily, you know, he was able to take that final game there, but just so many rush things. No, so many duck hunts don't know what the bare minimum is. When I said the bare minimum, I was talking about the Kirby player doing the bare minimum in order to take advantage of duck hunt. Basically, Wolfers was just doing a lot of unsafe moves on his shield, and the Kirby player was just punishing it, and he was just doing a lot of unsafe maneuvers, and the Kirby just decided to press a button, and it punished him. That was really it. And, like, the fact that, like this is the part that, like, kind of baffles me, is, like, back when like Wolfers was like submitting like his initial clips and all that stuff, is he was the player that would run away from you all the time, no matter what, and be absurdly safe. His punishes weren't great because like he was running away all the time. So instead of getting an advantage, he'd run away. But like it was so good that like it was very, very hard to catch him. But in this, he's doing the exact opposite of that, where it was absurdly easy to catch him. And like overall, like I think it was 2-3. Like I think the Kirby won 3 games and he won 2. Just because like he did the exact opposite of what he normally does. And if he did what he always did and like does well, and he would have had no issues in this matchup at all. Yeah. Well, there's a difference between pressing the red button and chasing after the red shiny can. Pressing the red button's not bad. Unless you're pressing side B, then that's generally pretty bad. But if you're just pinging it, that's pretty good. That's very low commitment. It doesn't do anything to duck on at all. That's fine. That's completely fine. But chasing after it and like ignoring the setup that you have, that's bad. That's abhorrent. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. I don't know. That's the thing. Like, it's not that he can't do this. Like, as I mentioned, he's very good at doing that. And I just don't know why he didn't do it here. That's the big question to me. You know, I did tell him that, you know, he does need to learn how to push advantage and all that stuff, but like, this is not how you do it at all. This is the exact opposite of how you do that. And he wasn't really trying to push advantage. Like, he would just trying to go in and like, you know, he didn't have an opening, but I guess he assumed he did. And that's why he decided to attack. But like, it wasn't like he was trying to go for like a super hard punish on anything, like, you know, extend a combo or anything like that. Like the other thing too, is like all those F smashes were really bad. Just like a huge risky move with like 0 reward at the times that he was throwing it out there. And there wasn't even a good read for it. He had like 1 or 2 good F smash out of like 20. It wasn't good. Yeah, no, that's definitely very true. That's very true. Yeah, a lot of Duckins don't really know how to push advantage or like what kind of that means for Duckin because it looks different. Pushing advantage with Duckin looks very different compared to a lot of different characters. Just because you're more focused on getting the setups and the coverage rather than like just staying on top of them nonstop by you physically being next to them. You're not generally physically next to them when you're doing that. Yeah. No, that's super true. That's super true. Yeah, overall, I'm very glad that you sent this to me. I don't know if it's just like you haven't been playing for a while or something like that, but like, yeah, I definitely needed to watch this and like tell you like, hey, stop rolling in when someone's approaching you. That's a very easy habit to punish. Stop using F smash just in general. Just ban yourself from using that move, and you'll feel exponentially better about that. Make sure you're throwing out your projectiles in safe spots, and make sure when you're playing a character that's slow and has no range like Kirby that you're playing that good keep away game. And if you do that, then you'll see a lot more success. You need to drastically focus on your neutral again before you go on and like really trying to push your advantage. And make sure you're spacing your fares properly and all that stuff. But remember, play keep away, ban yourself from using F smash, and watch where you're throwing out the projectiles. Focus on those three things, and then you'll have a good base to build yourself upon for the future. So focus on that. And you should be doing good from there because I know you can do it. I definitely know you can do it. You're not incapable of doing it. Just make sure you work on it and you just remember those things.